God, he spoiled me, water into my seed. Water into my seed.
Moses went to Pharaoh again, saying, "Let my people go, or God will smite Egypt with frogs, and they shall be everywhere." And Pharaoh refused. So God commanded Moses and Aaron to stretch their rods over the waters, and they did, and frogs infested the land of Egypt. So the Pharaoh said, "I will let the people go and worship their God if he removes the frogs from my land." So Moses went to God, and God took the frogs from the land the next day. But Pharaoh's heart was still hardened and did not hearken to them. And God commanded Moses to Aaron, "Stretch your rod out on the land." So Aaron did, and lice went throughout all Egypt in men and beasts. And the magicians stretched their rods out, but they could not do the same as Aaron. So they went to Pharaoh and said, "This is the finger of God." And Pharaoh's heart was hardened and did not listen to them. The next morning Moses went to the Pharaoh as God commanded, and the Pharaoh's heart was still hardened. So God sent swarms of flies on the Egyptians, and the Israelites did not suffer with flies because God put a division between his people and the Egyptians. And Pharaoh said, "Sacrifice to your God in the land." Moses said, "No, we will not sacrifice the abominations of this land to our God. We want to go to the wilderness and sacrifice to our God as he commanded us to do." Pharaoh said, "Okay, you can go, but not far. Entreat for me to your God." Moses said, "I will entreat my God for the flies to be gone, but don't deal deceitfully again." So Moses went to God, and he removed the flies. But Pharaoh's heart was still hardened and would not let the people go. Moses went to Pharaoh again, saying, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh was hardened. So God killed all the Egyptians' cattle. Then God told Moses and Aaron to take hands full of ashes and spread them to the heavens. And when Moses and Aaron did, the Egyptians and their beasts developed boils, but Pharaoh's heart was still hardened. So God said he will cause a grievous hail to rain down from heaven tomorrow. Gather your cattle and every servant in the field, for on every man and beast which is found in the field will be killed. Those that fear what the Lord said among the servants of Pharaoh listened, and gathered their cattle and servants into their house. But those that didn't left them in the field. The next day Moses stretched forth his rod throughout the land of Egypt, and God sent thunder and hail, and fire rained along the ground. It was very grievous, and whoever was caught outside died to the hail. And Pharaoh begged Moses and Aaron to ask God to take the plague away, and he will release the Israelites. So Moses went out of the city and spread his hands unto the Lord, and the storm ceased. And Pharaoh and his servants' hearts were hardened and did not let the Israelites go. Next, the Most High plagued Egypt with locusts, and they ate the residue of the trees growing in the fields, and they infested the Egyptians' homes. There remained not any green thing in the trees or the fields. And Pharaoh asked Moses to entreat God, and he would let the people go. But when Moses asked God, and God sent the locusts away, he refused to let them go. So the Lord commanded Moses to stretch his hands over Egypt, and he did. And a thick darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. But Pharaoh's heart was still hardened and refused to let the Israelites go. So God now wanted to bring one more plague. The last plague was God killing all the firstborns in Egypt. So God commanded all the Israelites to kill a lamb and spread the blood on the doorpost to prevent the death angel from killing their firstborns. And this day shall be a remembrance of what God did for the children of Israel when he delivered them from Egypt. This is the Passover. So during that night the children of Israel had a feast, and put the lamb's blood on the doorpost. And the angel of the Lord went into Egypt and killed all the firstborns, including the cattle and the Pharaoh's son. There was a great cry in Egypt, And Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and told them to leave Egypt immediately. And they took everything with them. So all the children of Israel left Egypt and took riches and flocks of cattle. And Moses took Joseph's bones with him. The Lord God had a cloud during the day and a pillar of fire during the night, guiding the Israelites through the wilderness on their journey. And it came to pass that the Pharaoh became angry and wanted to return the Israelites back to Egypt to be his slaves again. So he gathered his men and pursued the Israelites. And when the Egyptians was near, Israel was afraid, but Moses told them to fear not, for God will deliver them. And God commanded Moses to stretch forth his rod and hands over the sea. So he did, and the sea split in two. And the Israelites were able to walk across through the Red Sea safely. And when all the Israelites passed through, the Egyptians followed after them. All the Egyptians were in the midst of the sea, and God commanded Moses to stretch his hands over the water again. And he did, and the waters from the Red Sea swallowed up the Egyptians, and they drowned in the sea. After that, the Israelites rejoiced and worshiped God. They sang and danced, singing a great song. The Lord is my strength and song. He is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. If you haven't done so, please hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment letting me know how these videos are going. I just want to give all praises and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. I do so in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and say Shalom.